Hello and welcome to the 76th episode of Rambling Weekly. As you can maybe kind of tell, I don't know, maybe you're not even watching this. Maybe you're just listening to this, so you don't know. A little bit of a different angle. Some things have been going on. Nothing bad or anything, at least for me personally. But yeah, we're gonna get into a topic and the things we do here. So stick around. Welcome back. I don't know what that's gonna do for the video, if it's gonna have a bunch of things on it. I know sometimes some of the music, they're like, this was copywritten, but they allow it. We'll find out. It is Anthem's first EP single, Xanadu, which, as far as I'm aware, is the first time music was used to promote a new video game back in good old 1986. A little bit of time ago, but yeah, like that song. There's a sequel to it as well that is pretty good. As I like it, maybe a little bit more, but it could be because I don't get to hear that one as often because I don't have it on any sort of CD, unfortunately. While I have this one, because all these come from the Falcom Classics, which has what does it have on it? I'm gonna click. I'm gonna do the dangerous thing and click because I think it'll have a little image of it. Yes, it's got Xanadu, Dragon Slayer, and Ys music on it, as well as Star Trader and some other stoofs. So, hint, hint. I don't know why I'm saying that. Anyways, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good for myself. Surprisingly so, I should say. I've been super busy moving stuff around. I am getting, because everything's just so expensive, I have relented, and also because I opened my place for it to be taking in a roommate. I've had where I've been filming and recording. I don't know, filming. No, sounds so gross. Where I'm filming stuff, where I'm recording stuff is I don't know. That doesn't sound really much better. Where I make video. No, that's the internet has ruined a lot of things. But I've been using the basically second bedroom office to do that. So, but because who's been on before, Todd is actually going to be moving in, and he's commandeering the second one because he just can't sleep on a couch. I guess that's so unfair. Jokes aside, so that's why, moving stuff over here, and I don't know what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like water. The joys of living in an apartment, I guess, because that's what it sounds like. Anyways, so I've moved my stuff from out there, from that room to this one, and yeah, so get the glow of my lamp over there, and it's messy because I'm still in the process of doing it. Like, this week has been a busy week with all that sort of stuff going on, because I've been moving that stuff and just lots of things going on, and don't really have too good of an update on things. Like, I've not done any editing since last time I did recording. Just have not had the chance, no opportunity to do so. It has been that. I haven't done any reading on anything. Haven't probably I guess the most progressive thing that's been going on. Been a bit more active. A little bit more on Discord, but also just in general. So that's been nice to and this is kind of actually what's going to be the topic, so kind of trying not to fully talk about that and whatnot. Don't really have too much else. Hope other people have been doing well. Yeah, that's it. I like legit. I have nothing. It has been doing all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to take another break and then get into the topic. So stick around. Welcome back to that song there. Star Trader from, I'm assuming, the game Star Trader. The Nihon Falcon one came out in like 89, I think. I was looking it up because, because there's a different one, a video game that was a space trading game back in 1974 developed by Dave Kaufman. So that's pretty neat. It is the ancestor of many, as quoted here in Wikipedia, making it the ancestors of many subsequent Space Trader games, such as EVE Online, the Wing Commander Privateer series, and Elite series. So that's that. I don't know the Falcon one at all, so it could be similar. It could be pretty much the same thing. I don't think it is, but I don't know. I'm I just like the tune. It's a nice tune. It's a good tune. The end. So, so the topic for today, we're talking about circling back. And what does that mean? So, I think I've said this before. I know I say it personally, but I could have swore I've said it at some point in these ramblings of mine, that unless it is something incredibly egregious, and for some people that means different things, sometimes it means the same thing, but unless it's something incredibly egregious, I like to try to give people the opportunity to redeem themselves, or right whatever wrong that maybe, if somebody's, like, for example, somebody's acting like a grouch one day, not that you try, not that you like, hey, you were a grouch yesterday, not to prime it like that, but see how they act the next day. Are they still a grouch? Well, maybe something's going on. Or are they quick to apologize? I know there was somebody that I had interactions with 2 days ago. 2 days ago was a grouch to me, and then yesterday was the first thing she said was, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be a grouch." And this was when I was doing my work, being a professional. But the first thing she said, she was like, "Hey, sorry, it was a bit curt with you yesterday. Had to deal with my business," kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, you're good. That's what I mean. Things like that. So giving people an opportunity to redeem themselves. I don't know why I'm starting off with that foot, because it doesn't quite. I think it might be a little bit of a leap, running jump. But the thing with this circling back, and I feel like I've mentioned this other story as well, but if not, I'm going to talk about it here for a moment. So there is something when I think about and look back over my life and what it has been and what it could have been, and I just kind of toss off to the side because that's never happening. More than anything, elementary was not a very fun time. I probably mentioned this before. It was obnoxious. A lot of kids were very, very quick and keen on making fun of the old ear and all that sort of fun jazz. And I grew very resentful, very misanthropic. I was like, I don't like this thing called people. They bother me. They're mean. they're not very fun. They like to poke fun at me, and it's not a good time. Don't know what I did to deserve it, but and so I held that. And while from elementary school to middle school, more so like 7th and 8th grade, there's the like strict mark of line of demarcation between that past and middle school past. There's another like towards the end of 8th grade, and then I moved again for high school is in a different spot. And once I moved into each of those moves, and then going from high school to college, there was at least a few people, but then after college and after coming back, the pool kind of dwindles a little bit. But the ones from elementary school I never ran into again, and that was until I want to say like junior year college, something like that. So that would have been nearly 10 years. Maybe not quite 10 years, but about 10 years. And that's a big gap. Not only is it a big gap. What is the phone going off for? Why? Okay. I'll answer that in a moment. But I'm sorry, I'm entertaining myself. But that's a big gap, and also that's a big gap because it's like that's very early. That's almost like half your life, or at least half mine, if not half, very close to half. Yeah, very close to half, and so that's a lot of there's a lot of chances, a lot of growth, a lot of things happening, and randomly junior year in college, not high school, college, I happened to run into somebody. For the first time I didn't actually say anything because I was like, no way. Those embers long buried have come to and reignited. And then I saw him again and I was like, oh yeah, that's totally him. And I actually approached him. I was like, oh, this is like I got to figure this out. And so I talked to him, and I'm gonna time out. I'm actually gonna answer that because I probably should get back to him before it goes on, because I want to be doing this for a minute. So quick timeout. It sends a notification when it delivers. But anyways, time back in. So I approached him and I was like, "Hey, are you?" And I'm not gonna mention this person's name, even though they I'm not gonna mention their name. And they're like, "Hey, yeah," and they were surprised, and we had a genuinely nice conversation, and it was an eye-opening moment for me. And I get it. A, it's unfair. B, there is enough time. See, not everybody's going to go this route. There will be people who just are crappy people when they're kids and become crappy people when they're adults. And even though it was just a single conversation that I had, there was more than just other things that I've seen and whatnot from this person to think, oh, they were never they are not like they once were, and that like really cooled my animosity and just, I guess, bitterness and that sort of thing in childhood and whatnot. Sure, can't go back to it anyways. And the bullying and all that sort of crummy stuff. It is what it is at this point in my spot. But I was very happy to see that the person was not like they once were, or at least how they treated me, and just from some of the things I've seen in other ways. So yeah, kind of a surprising thing. And I know that's, like I said, it's not going to be for everybody. Like, everybody's not going to do this. It just, it was a lucky draw that allowed that to kind of close the book on this, douse the heated animosity of childhood, and kind of be good, kind of let go of things. And then circling back, so there, and I think I mentioned it a couple times before. I'm mentioning it now, but I have been able to recently, within the last couple months, reunite and be in communications with one of my best friends from high school. And it had been probably close to 15 years since we had talked and everything like that. He dropped completely off of social media himself, and I'm bad about keeping in touch with people, and it's just what happened. However, in getting back in touch, it is almost like, in good ways, I guess, maybe possibly bad ways, depending on how you look at it. We have probably not changed one bit, and I mentioned to him about doing the podcast, so I'd like to get him on at some point. So it'd be nice to chit chat about something that he'd want to chit chat about. And I don't know, it is a part of the elusive, exclusive Taylor lore from a time, the primordial times of high school in the early aughts. Because the only other person who knows about those things is my brother, who I had on, and we talked about history, not about ourselves. So, nor should we really just be talking about ourselves. It's fun to just talk to him about ideas on things, and I don't know. What does Aristotle say? A friend is another self, and he certainly makes me think that, for better and for worse. But I guess that's the thing, because I know I've been in some kind of quieter, more cloistered mentalities and self, is that I do this from time to time, that I just sort of recede. You've seen it with the channel. Sushi's well aware of this, and it has nothing to do with like anybody. I mean, I'm trying to think, and he'll remind me. He probably could recall it quite much more specifically about how long it had been from talking at one point to not talking, because it was a while, and it wasn't even. And I get it, things kind of quote unquote happen, but to borrow a line from who's gone before with the AI discussion, good friend Matt, I did not allocate the appropriate time that I should have to reached out and just chit-chatted, and that's on me. But I think it's important, and healthy. Oh my goodness, there's a fly in here. How did a fly get in here? What the heck? How? Gracious. Anyways, it's important. I'm trying to be like serious, and then I'm like, squirrel. It's important to circle back, I guess, is where I'm getting at with this. And in some ways, it's pleasantly surprising to be able to do that. Perhaps I'm also just rather fortunate and lucky to have been able to do that. And part of that, I think, what ends up happening a lot of times is that there's that cutoff. I mean, I know they've seen the memes of this is the last time you guys played co-op on the couch together, and you would never realize it until like well later. Like I get that, but I think what ends up happening is that I know I butchered that meme or whatever. There's that moment where it is the thing you do and then you don't do anything for a while, and then it sort of builds up, and then it's almost kind of shameful. You're just kind of like ashamed that you haven't like reached out. You're like, oh, well, who's the schmuck, hat in hand, I'm sorry. kind of thing. But friends usually they won't. They may grief you for it, but they won't guilt you for it. That's the one thing that kind of comes of it. And yeah, so it has been really, really nice to have that, because yeah, I think that has happened probably to. It's probably happened to a lot of people, and happens here with the YouTube channel to some degree. I just kind of circle back and just sort of be like, I want to do some things. I've been pretty consistent this time around, though. I think this has probably been one of the, if not the most active and just stubborn I've been with the channel. This certainly, I'm making an effort of it this time around to not just be like, I'm too, because it's easy. Like I was like, I've got a lot of crap that I still got to do. Still got to do a lot of stuff, a lot of cleaning. And it's not like I'm messy. It's just like this stuff is really hard to move, and it's like, what am I going to do? Like it is. It'll be nice though. It gives me a chance to not be a curmudgeon. That's always important. Don't want to be a curmudgeon. But yeah. So I'm trying to think. What is another good example of circling back that I have? I mentioned, Sushi, Graham. David's there's probably been certain spots where I haven't talked, and then all of a sudden be like, hey, how's it going? And with Matt as well. This is, like I said, this is kind of what I do, and I don't know why I do it. I mean, I think it happens with. I hope. I don't want to hope, but I think it kind of happens with a lot of people, and it isn't. I mean, I get that there's you can only keep so many people in your friend circle and all that sort of stuff, so you can't just be friends with everybody. That's just it's just not gonna happen, because there's just, as I'm yawning, I'm super sleepy. Wake up. There's just only so many hours in the day and whatnot, but yeah, to paraphrase Poe, sands of time, how you try to grasp them and they still just kind of fall through your fingertips and fingers and all that. Quick diatribe on something that I wanted to mention, and this is the idiocy of people. This is why I have. This is why I can quickly slip into misanthropic. I remember reading a long time ago. I don't know if it was. I don't remember where I read this. Some social media thing. I'm presuming it was Facebook, because I'm not a Reddit guy, so it's not really something. It's just. I don't have time. I'm not going to allocate whatever precious seconds of time are clicking on the clock for me for Reddit. I just no. I'd rather play Kirby. Like, definitely. Anyway, there was this point where this guy he got asked, I believe, by his daughter, who was a little kid, probably 4-year-old, asked what was the gap, what was the space between the teeth of a comb called. And I don't know why I'm bringing this up. I have to rant about something, I guess. But he was so awestruck that a child would ask such a question, and he didn't have the answer for it. You know, gap is the answer that I gave because I couldn't keep from saying it. But that he was just like, wow. So I don't know why. Why am I even bringing this up other than to just be obnoxious? I don't know. It has nothing to do with it. I'm just like, it just kind of sprung into my brain, and it's just something that has always agitated me. And it's just like how it's like oh wow, you did something like cool that the 4-year-old is inquisitive to be like, hey, what is this? But not cool that you're like, well gosh, I don't know. You know, that kind of thing. It's like, come on now. Like, it's gaps. The end. That's I don't know where I'm going with that. Other than gaps. Gaps in time, gaps in the teeth of a comb. But yeah, sorry, I had to check the text thing. Anyways, circling back to the topic at hand. I think it is important to do that. So if you ever get the chance to, circle back. So try if there's a friend that you haven't talked to in a while, and if you have a way to, reach out to them. See how they're doing. Who knows? It might help rekindle stuff. And I get that there's some I see a lot of this. I guess no other way to put this, new age vibin' nonsense where it's like, well, if they're not in your life, that just means that they've done their part. And it's like, is that really what that means? Is that to borrow a line from my own writing because I am that much of a schmuck? But is that, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't know it off the top of my head because I'm that much of a schmuck. But are you just going to take what life gives you? Is that it? You're just going to take it? Just accept what is given to you by life? That's not me. I don't like that. I don't. Certainly, there are unfortunately hands that when you get them, you can only play certain cards. I get that. But I think if you have the opportunity to play something a little different, or maybe play your own little game, I think you should. But what do I know? I'm just a schmuck. But yeah, that's all I got. Circle back. You might be pleasantly surprised, or you might be very disappointed. That's I guess the other kind of double-edged sword with it. Even though I tried to make a point and then can't stick the landing, I've always got to be like, oh, I gotta try to. I mean, that is part of the double-edged sword, right? Like, especially with media or media, I guess medium. Something you enjoyed and then kind of coming back to it and watching it again or something. You're like, I don't know about this. This ain't so good. This is not nearly as enjoyable now as it was 6 years ago, kind of thing. And same thing with friends from long ago. It's like, we were good friends, and then we just kind of, what they say, grew apart, kind of thing. Or just. I always hate the what some people. I can't remember. There's like a phrase that some people use about how they would phrase it, which almost sounds like elitist, condescending. But I just advanced, and it's like I know that's not the phrase, but somebody will remember it, and it's not going to be me because I can't. You just grew apart. You took different skill tree paths. Something. Walk the path last traveled. Ah! Can of worms. Thanks, Frost. Thanks for people who misrepresent that, because that's how you can interpret it in so many ways. But yeah, that's all I got, at least for the topic. We're going to take a break, and then I'll get into a quote and be done. So stick around. Welcome back. That song there is Carl Cares. I believe that's from Xanadu Proper, I think. Could be wrong, but it's a good tune. Good, energetic tune. Yeah, so the quote, I'm going to cheese it in. I can be topical. I can be up to date. Speaking of up to date, before I get into things, something I think a very strong line of mark between older people and younger people is who gets scared or feels the spookies, and maybe not, but the liminal spaces thing. I don't understand it. I don't understand how it is creepy. I don't get the whole backroom thing. So I can look forward to Todd elucidating me on what all that's about, because I certainly don't have any idea. Because it's like, I know he's mentioned things before, and I'm just kind of like, I don't. How is this scary? I don't get it. It's like more like New Age lore. That is just kind of like, okay, whatever. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning, other than it's past my bedtime. I've been going to bed super early and waking up early, and just kind of keeping things have been stressful, so I've been keeping it very chill. I'm just kind of keeping it calm and easy. Anyways, yeah, I don't know why that came to my brain, but it did. The quote is going to be a dialogue, because, as I was sort of saying before, sidetracking myself, going to be topical. The Castlevania Nocturne, the new next animated bit. The next animated show, at least announced for 8 episodes, 25 minutes apiece. Only on Netflix for a bit. Hopefully they release a physical thing of it so I can watch it, because I'm not paying for Netflix. Because, no. Like, I'll buy a Blu-ray of it. Like, that's what you'll get out of me. Is that there is a bit of back and forth. I know it's in the Dracula X Chronicles, the PSP, that's got it's got Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, and this bit is from I want to say it's from the Rondo of Blood portion, where Dracula and Richter squaring off. I also been hearing this line in like one of those like hour-long Castlevania synthwave. I've been on a Castlevania kick, and I haven't watched the show. And I am still on episode 5 of season 2. Excuse me. And I haven't played anything. I've just been listening to a lot of the music lately, or what have you. God, why can't I stop? Wake up. But yeah, and it's on there as like the last of the hour-long one that is it's the same tune I think that's used at the beginning of Symphony of the Night when you're playing as Richter and you fight Dracula. I think it's the same song, but this bit of dialogue is a little bit different, you know. And I'm not about to do voices for this because I can't. So it's like, Belmont, son of Belmont, I've been waiting for you. Richter, Dracula, die now and leave this world. You'll never belong here. And then Dracula's like, oh, but this world invited me. Your own kind called me forth with praise and tribute. Tribute? You're a thief. You steal men's souls, their freedom. And then this line is what always gets me. I always really like this. Then Dracula's like, freedom is always sacrificed to faith, good hunter. Or are you truly here by choice? And Richter's like, all I'm here for is you. To hell with your heresy. You're nothing but a blight on mankind. And then Dracula responds, ha! Mankind, a cesspit of hatred and lies. Fight for them, then, and die for their sins. And then you fight. So, I liked the Dracula line of the freedom is always sacrificed to faith, good hunter, or are you truly here by choice? And it's I kind of I always like the quagmire of the what is the choice here and stuff. I know that's something that gets dug into by fate, determinism and preordained or preordained. I don't know if preordained's the word I want. Maybe it is. Somebody will correct me. But predetermined. We'll go with predetermined. And it's I don't know. It's a nice bit of kind of slap back at Richter, who is. I'm not the biggest Richter fan when it comes to Castlevania stuff, but yeah, so we'll see how the show treats it, and yeah, a shame because I'd like to see my boy Simon get more appreciation. Yeah, he's got a lot of games. Doesn't mean he can't have a little bit of his own show. Come on now, Simon. Anyways, the tune out the outro is, and I've used it before as the outro. I want to say is the Falcom Classics Total Ending theme. It's just such a smooth song, and yeah, I'm picking it again because I like it. Heck, I probably pick some of these other songs. I think probably Carl Cares. I think I've picked before as well, but. Sometimes you just kind of pick what kind of comes to what I'm feeling. That's all it comes down to. 93% of the time, not all the time, 93% of the time, specifically 93% of the time, I'm just kind of picking something that I'm feeling. And then the other times I'm like, I'm very specific. I want this one. There's a reason for it. There wasn't. It's just kind of like, oh, sure, this album. These tunes. Anyways, that's it from me. So thank you for listening, watching, all that sort of fun jazz. Enjoy your weekday, weekend, week, whatever, and everything in between. And I'll catch you next week. So, see ya. Thanks for watching, and bye.